Hello, everybody. It's Justin. Oh. I'm gonna stop singing like Creed. Final Fantasy 15 is what I'm playing today, and it's been a blast so far. Or it's been a real slash. Get it? Because of the swords. Okay, I'll stop. All right. What the Lord is saying for today is He is bringing back, and He's letting us understand that His covenant is established. His covenant is going to come to pass no matter what's going on. He said that His covenant is stronger than the contracts of the world. He said that His covenant is stronger than the contracts of this world. And that it has been established, it is forever going to be established, and that in that covenant, that's the parameters that we have to work with. So even now He's saying that, that's where you're in. Like, act and resolve and fight and everything within this new covenant established by Christ, by the blood. He says that even now He's saying that His blood stretches out through all of eternity. It doesn't run out. So the question is that how can eternal blood, eternal covenant, these eternal things be outmatched by the contracts of man, which is only ink, only temporal? How can that happen? So begin to understand. I think the Lord is saying for us to understand what is in the actual covenant itself. Like, what's in the bloodline, so to speak. What is He actually saying? What is He actually doing? What has He actually done? What's going on within that covenant? And really understanding what that means. Because when you begin to move outside of what is included in your covenant, then don't wonder why a bunch of weird things begin to happen to you in terms of not so great things. It's like, did He give you a spirit of fear? Or are you always afraid all the time about what's going to happen here, what's going to happen here? Afraid of failure, afraid of this, afraid of that, And I keep on bringing up fear over and over again, but I'm seeing the damage that it can do to a person in their life. And it's like, man, it's really, really bad. I see more and more how it is the antithesis of love. Because when a person is afraid and they're in survival mode and everything, they become sociopaths. Have you ever seen this before? They become crazy. He lied, cheat, steal, backstab, all this stuff, because they are afraid that they're not going to make it. And that's all that it took. Like, that's all that it took. So, because it can even escalate to the point where, you're afraid that no one's going to like you, so you just begin to do all kinds of crazy things, It's like, it's amazing what fear and how antithetical fear is in contrast to love. It's amazing. So, let's begin to understand more about what's actually included in the covenant. What's included in the new covenant of Christ? What is included in that? Because a bunch of promises are, a bunch of new and old promises are part of that. But just all this stuff is a part of it, and it's understanding the context of it. There's all this liberty, there's all this love, there's all these gifts, there's all this stuff that's included in this contract. And a lot of times we don't actually sit down and count, okay, here are my parameters here. I know what the world is saying, but here are my parameters. I work for a different kingdom. I'm part of a different system. I'm part of a different process. I'm part of a different understanding. I'm part of a different, all these things. So, whatever contracts or whatever the man is saying, God can just do what He does and flip that thing around in such drastic ways that make your head swim. We've seen Him do it a number of times, and I don't know why we're expecting Him to do any less. Simply because it's 2017. So, but He really wants us to understand that. So, get really plugged into that and really find out what you've got going on in the spirit. What do you got going on? What does that mean? How can it manifest? And really believing in that. because that's really the key thing, is believing that in your heart and walking in that. Otherwise, you know, you're gonna get more of what you already got, and that could be a good thing, that could be a bad thing, but it ain't the main thing. So that's my time, guys. Loves and hugs. You can find out ways to support me in the links in the description below, and if you would be so kind as to like, share, and subscribe, that would be super duper, because these things need to be shared a lot. Alright guys, loves and hugs, and bye-bye! Thank you once again to my Patreon supporters. It means so much to me. Just look at them. Just look at these people. Just look at it!